to be a head of a church to be in ministry? How can I balance marriage, family, and service to God?
Ministry and marriage, striking the balance or integration. Welcome to Covenant Marriages. My name is Omo.
And I am Eunice. You do not want to miss today's episode. Please stay tuned. Covenant Marriages will be right back.
Welcome back to Covenant Marriages, people. We are with the Olamijus. And we are treating a very interesting topic today. What is it? Aha. Marriage and ministry. Striking the balance or integration. Welcome with me, the Olamijus. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, most welcome, sir and ma.
Thank you for having us.
So, it's great to have you. We know you're in ministry, but before we get to the talk about your ministry,
Your ministerial exploits.
aha, it would be nice to know how you met. You've been married for how long now?
Will be
10 plus
11
years. Yeah.
in August.
Wow.
11,
Okay.
11, 10 plus.
Yeah,
It's
10
It's a
plus
double
years.
digit.
Yes, 10 plus years.
Anyway,
Wow, congratulations.
thank you very much.
So how did you meet? Who wants to start? How you met?
Well, ladies first.
Okay. Well, yeah, we met at the university. So we were in the same school fellowship. And then I just joined the fellowship. If I remember clearly, everyone had to go through a believers class. That's what we used to call it then. So I joined the believers class, and he was my teacher. Yeah, in the believers class. So, but fun fact, when he introduced himself, I was like, I know this name. I'm so sure I know this name. How do I know this name? Anyway, I just took my mind off it and focused on the class. And then after the class, there was another person who was also in the class who attended the same secondary school as I did. And then he said after the class, don't you know that brother? He was our senior in school now. I said, okay, that's how I know the name. And so I just walked up to him. I said, we went to the same school now. And he was like, really? So I said, yeah, do you know this person and that person? And then I mentioned a few. He was like, yes, I know. So apparently, he knew all my friends in secondary school. I knew all his friends, but we never met in secondary school. So we met in university, and then, yeah, as they say, the rest is history.
So you were ministering. The relationship started
While you were a minister.
You know why I allowed that to go first? Because we had difference in how exactly who started talking to who. You know, that's why I allowed that to go first. And but I think now it's harmonized a bit now.
And
because
perspectives are different.
Well, because then it was that I was the one, you know, that walked up, or was the one that said, oh yeah, this is what we do for friends.
Oh no, but that was after now.
Yes, so yeah.
Let's not wash our hands.
No.
yeah,
There is no linen that is dirty.
No, he's just referring.
Fabric statements making
He's
fabric.
referring to things that happened afterwards, right?
That same night,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
But
That very day
That's-
that she walked
oh
up
yes.
with you.
Oh
It's not
yes.
afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I would say afterwards, because so what he's trying to say is, so after that conversation, you're my senior in school now. I know your name. You know my friends. I know your friends. Then he went on to tell me very strange things that you wouldn't tell someone you just met. You get at least the one I remember of all the things he said
Like
that
the name
day.
of my first son.
He told me that the name of his first son would be this, that. So I was like, okay, we'll be okay. Let's just move on.
Pastor,
and then at the time I was living off campus. So I don't remember. Was it that you walked me to the gate?
Yes, I walked you to the
Okay, so,
gate
yeah.
and then got back, and you know, either there was a call or
Yes, you called me.
to confirm if she had gotten home, And then she was like,
All
oh,
in
thank
the
you for this. And I
follow-up.
was like, oh, yeah, that's what we do for friends.
Exactly.
That's
So
all we do
that's
for
what
friends.
we
What
do
we
for
do for
friends.
friends.
I was like,
Somebody you just met
how
today.
did we move
Yes.
from
Yes.
this to that?
Interesting.
So basically,
I
that's how
guess
it
it was
went.
just a case of alignment of values, alignment of shared values. The fact that, you know, most of the values that people get comes from the fact that they grew up either in same locality or environment. And I think the fact that we went to the same secondary school, we were in the same circles, and we never even met each other just proves to you that, yeah, she would most likely have, you know, the shared values.
We're in the same
with me,
secondary school fellowship.
Fellowship,
So
yes.
at the
so
time,
it was-
in our secondary school, there was one fellowship. So anyone who identified as
Once
a
you are born
Christian, as a
again,
believer,
yeah.
you recently give your life to Christ, whether off whether
In the
off
choir.
school or in school, you just identify with that fellowship. So that's why I said it's very strange that we never really met, because we were in the same circles,
Yeah.
really. So I agree when he says, I guess it was just like we aligned.
We
We
just
knew
clicked, I guess.
we knew that we're made of the same stock, so it wasn't.
So it was,
That's
it
why
was
you-
easy.
difficult.
That's why you shot your shots right there. Bam. The
I
name of my
started-
first son is.
I started shooting. It wasn't that. I just, you know, laid down the. He said, make it plain.
Of course.
Write the vision, make it plain, so that anyone that reads
Will
will
run.
run.
And the name, go on, go on.
Oh yes, yes, I know
The
you.
name of
Yes.
your
yes,
son
that
is.
was
Yes.
the
Oh,
name of our
amazing.
first son. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, well, it's the name
So
of
you
my
use your son's name to toast babe.
Oh, great.
Interesting.
It just so happened.
So, I mean, it's safe to say that he had always been in a position of influence and leadership when you met him. Because, I mean, from what you said, he was a teacher of the believers class. And now he's a pastor. He has always had that. How does it feel being married to a man of God, influential man? You know, there is a pastor's wife perspective. There is our perspective. I mean, our, not pastors, our, you know. And then there is a pressure that pastor's wife have to live up to. So I don't know how you can answer all of that in this one question.
So, yeah, it's many questions in one. Number one, I don't feel pressured in any kind of way.
Okay.
It also may be because of the kind of ministry that we are a part of. In TCN, where we are a part of, there's no, the structure is flat in some way. There's no bureaucracy of that sort. It's the culture of the ministry keeps you in check, keeps you humble, keeps you, just makes you see yourself as a part of the whole, not a special part, not the most important part, but just a part of the whole. So everyone plays their part. And you know that ours is not a full-time ministry in that sense. And it's even more interesting in TCN because the husband could be Daddy Gio in a campus, quote and unquote, and the wife is not even in that campus.
True.
Before you even talk about whether she's Mommy Gio or not, you know. So I don't have that kind of pressure, the traditional Mommy Gio kind of pressure.
How about when you go to his campus
So
and the treatment you get from everybody?
when I go to the campus, I just try to stay under the radar. And then, of course, because I am not a core part of the church, I don't go Mommy Gio on them. So I just, you know, how can I help kind of posture, and if anyone has something that they want me to comment on or give my contribution, they would have to ask me, and I'm always happy to do that. If the campus reaches out that they want me to do something, happy to help, because yeah, I'm supporting my husband, their campus pastor, and we are also a part of a whole. So if they do need me to do something, I'm definitely available to do it. But the traditional parish pastor's wife pressure, I don't think I feel it.
Interesting. So I just want to take you back a bit. considering that you, Pastor Bolaji, did not start as a campus pastor.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how it's been, how service has been. Obviously, you're not always a titled pastor.
Yeah.
You played other roles, both of you, and what service means to you in your marriage and as a family.
All right, so ministry to me, I think, is multifaceted. It's all-encompassing. Every area of my life, I see myself as a minister, really, because I'm a minister in the marketplace. I started out ministry from fellowship days, right, serving in varied capacity, either as the hall pastor, as the evangelism secretary, as a Bible study teacher, you know, then to church. Started out as an usher, you know, to being a minister and now a pastor. So I think, and I'm also a minister in my family. That's my first ministry, you know. So I think one word to define everything, what ministry really is service. That's it.
Okay, I totally agree. Service and ministry, put it that way, has also been a core part of my Christian faith and my Christian walk. Same as him. Secondary school, I think the highest titled role I had was, I think I was the head of Ushers department. At the time, there were 3 of us. So I was head of Ushers department at some point. I was in the choir in secondary school. Yeah, I remember that. In university, I also started out from the choir and then moved on to executive positions. So I was treasurer of the fellowship, 2-time treasurer of the fellowship, and then I was treasurer of the joint Christian fellowship in university.
Wow.
Yes. So I like to say that I'm team, for people who understand Yoruba, Maji Obaje, meaning if I'm there, things shouldn't go off, things shouldn't go south. They just have to be done properly. So a service is really service for me.
Service.
Yes, regardless of the title.
Yeah.
Amazing. If we want to talk about marriage and service, because I know these roles that you've played in the past and even presently comes with a lot of sacrifice, especially when you got married, raising children, balancing that with work and your career. How have you been able to balance it, really, knowing that, you know, you have to be at certain places? If you can tell us, give us practical steps. Are there certain things you do? Do you have many alarms? Other people want to serve like you as well.
All right, so
Balance.
that is on the assumption that I have been balancing it. Because if you look at it, different phases require different tactics, right? When we were just 2 in the house, it is different from when we had toddlers, different from, you know, the number we have right now, 3 kids, you know, with 1 still, you know, so it's a different phase, you require different tactics, you know, and also balancing that with her career, my own business, you know, so it's a lot. What I would just say is that I think one basic thing that has helped us is the fact that we align. You know, the fact that she's been in service and I've been in service, and we understand the sacrifices that, you know, is required to every single ministry or post that we have to do at that time. So I think understanding really, I think, has helped, because like we say, that is he who has capacity to do, that should do. So if you have a bit of time to be able to do school runs, then you should be the one to do the school runs. If you have capacity to be the one to, you know, get them up, you know, get them to bed and to help pray with them, then you should do, knowing fully well that maybe you get home earlier than the other. Yes, so it's not, we don't have that traditional role of, oh yes, you are the man. you are the one that should lock the gate. You are the, you know, we don't, you know. So yeah, that's it. Really understanding has helped, and the fact that we can separate family life from church life. In fact, I was still, I think 2 or 3 days ago, I asked her that, have you ever called me pastor? You know, just sitting. Have you ever, does it sound well to you, you know? Because she would rather call me pet names, you know. So I was like, do you agree? You know, so yeah, it's really about being understanding and being able to help and, you know, adjust, you know, for one another. Yeah.
He seems to be saying everything that I want to say, so
That's
I think
why.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It means you're really
So because
aligned.
the first thing I was going to say is that our values align. So there's nothing that is a rude shock. Someone coming in, say, so he's the campus pastor in the Ibadan center of TCN, but we live in Lagos. So if he comes in from Ibadan, for example, and says, comes in at 2 o'clock, for example, and he says, please, I just need to eat lunch, take a nap, and I have a meeting at 4 p.m. It's not strange to me, because I've had days when I came in from someplace, maybe I had not even been home for like 3 days. I came in from someplace and I'm like, look, the only thing I'm here to do is to pick up new clothes or fresh clothes, and I'm going out. I'm going to church. I need to be somewhere. I need to do something. So it's not a rude shock. So because it's not a rude shock, we are able to manage it on that front. I would also say that one of the things I learned from my husband, his favorite things to say, he always says, checks and balances, checks and balances. So he worked in the bank for some time and he was in operations. So yeah, we serve as check and balance for each other.
Yeah.
So when one person is going overboard, like, are you sure that if you don't do this thing, nothing else will move? Are you sure that what you want to prioritize right now is church, or that church meeting, or this church call? You know, someone else can actually handle it. So we do that for each other every now and again, and it's always, I've had several times that I can remember when he has literally slapped me awake of some thoughts or some way of just behaving, and that just puts me in the right place. Every time on our journey, every time seasons change, we've had different sets of what do you call it now, support system. So somewhere, somehow, every step of the way, when we are alone, when we grew to mommy and daddy and 1 child, when we grew to mommy and daddy and 2 children, every step of the way we've had some form of support. And the beauty of it is, after that season, that support goes away.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
it happened every time. After that season, that support goes away, and a new set of support comes in.
Yeah.
It could be in form of a family member, it could
Yeah.
be in form of a paid staff, it could be in it's come in different forms. So we are also very thankful for that, and we embrace any support we can
Honestly,
get.
it takes a village to
We
raise
take
a
it.
child.
We take it with our
know.
whole heart. Like, if you can support us, please come on board. We are happy for the help. We ask for it when we can. When it's offered to us, we embrace it. So yeah, I think these are some of the things that have helped us. Alignment, support system that we are very thankful we've had. I'm also a planner, so I may not necessarily execute. I may leave him to execute. In some instances, I plan and execute. But in some other instances, I just plan it to the letter. And then every other person just runs with it. So I think also that has helped us a lot.
True.
To try to balance things, because the scales tip from time to time. Yeah.
Wow. It's still covenant marriages. We are still speaking with Pastor. She doesn't like this one. Pastor Mrs. Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Olamijus. Please don't go anywhere. Covenant marriages will be right back.
Welcome back to Covenant Marriages. We are still with the Olamijus, who are talking about family, ministry, business, and balancing it up with service to God.
Interesting, and it's been amazing so far. You would agree with us that. Let's deal with the elephant in the room. Family, business, ministry, or service, and all other commitments that you may have. If you were to line them up in order of priority, how would you order them or arrange them?
Well, that's a scenario-based question I don't like answering, and I'll tell you why. There is this, what we call the tragedy of false options, meaning that you are boxed to choose between things that are not exactly complementary. Take, for example, you say that, what would you like, bread or butter? Why can't I have both? Right? Because what the tragedy of false option basically limits your options. It tells you, oh no, you have to arrange it in order of priority. When in actual fact, why can't you have 100%? Why do you, like I was saying to her that, why can't I have a beautiful and a dutiful wife? Why is it that dutifulness is only attached to the one that is ugly? You understand what I'm trying to say?
No.
Also, it's
I've lost you. All right. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't.
or it says
Okay,
your mother
that
or
now.
your wife.
Exactly. So you
that's
say that,
wickedness
who
now.
will you choose? You say that in this scenario, will you choose your wife or you choose your mother-in-law? Why can't both of them be chosen?
Now I get it.
You get what I'm trying to say. So
Beautiful and beautiful. Don't cut it.
okay. So what I'm trying to say is that at different times and different phases, that our order of priority changes.
Oh.
You get what I'm trying.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes, and I'll remember when Jesus was, in fact, the mother and the brothers of Jesus came to him while he was talking, and the Bible says they were desiring to speak with him. And one of the disciples went to meet him. Jesus, your mother and your father, your mother and your brothers are outside waiting to speak with you. He said, who are my brothers? He said, my brothers are these disciples, the ones that do the will of God.
True.
So meaning that he understood what it means to prioritize at that time. So there are times that kingdom takes priority. There are times that family takes priority. So that's why I said that when you ask me, how do I balance it? I'm still a work in progress, trying to grapple with all of the factors that are in play. So at different times, that's why understanding is key. Because there are times that I would have to prioritize kingdom. There are times that I ought to prioritize family. And I would do that. So I'm saying, why can't I have 100% of everything? So there are times that if you have to say that, how do you manage your time, that which one, is it 50-50? No, sometimes it is 90-10. And it also depends on the phase. So there was a time when I started business that needed a lot of me. Then when I now put structures in place, I'm a bit withdrawn. The same way, when you start something, it's different from when it is already running, almost running without you. So that's the tragedy of false options. The fact that you say that, what is the order of priority? At different times in my life, there is something that takes priority. So there is no one size fits all.
Oh.
That you can say that, oh no, she's always first. In fact, Jesus said that no man, having left wife or house, brothers, he says, who will not receive this. So there are times you have to leave, to be able to do something. And there are times, so I think it's really about also that let them feel your presence while you are there. So if you are in church, feel your presence. If you are in family, let them feel your presence. Speak their love language.
And choosing one does not mean that the other
other
is
is-
less important. So because, like he said, is what you are doing now. So I'll give you an example. I think it was in January, yeah, when we were preparing for WAFBEC. Either he asked or we kind of agreed that we're going to go, the entire family was going to go to Ibadan. It has become like a, kind of a tradition of some sort, that, okay, since we are usually not able to go with you to church throughout the year, except on few occasions, we'll try to just do December there in Ibadan. That's the Christmas, New Year, as many of those special December holiday periods that we can spend there. So this December had come, and the day that he was supposed to be at Ibadan, I had a meeting, an important meeting in church with my service department.
Lagos.
And I kept telling him, this meeting is important, we are planning for a major event, that I need to be there, and I'm a team lead. I would say it and he won't say anything. He'll just not say anything. He'll just probably leave the scene or smile or not say anything. So I was there saying, I know it's important to him and to my family that I'm at Ibadan, but this meeting too is very important. And to be honest, at some point, I had made up my mind to stay for the meeting and not go to Ibadan. I was like, there will be another time. And I just kept at it, like, this is important, this is important, this is important. And because, I don't know, I would say that God saw my heart, and then suddenly, I just got an idea that, okay, since you have to do a presentation at this meeting, can you ask the head of the department if you could send an audio presentation? So I then asked him, Oga, this is the situation, I have to be here and all of that. Can I send in an audio presentation? Every other thing I need to do, this is done, check, 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 check. The only thing missing is this presentation I would have to do at the meeting. Can I send an audio? It was like, oh, sure, you can. You know the interesting thing that happened? I did the audio presentation. I sent the audio presentation out. But again, because God saw my heart, and maybe because he also recognized the sacrifice I had made, we were able to go to Ibadan. We were able to leave Ibadan in good time, and I still made it physically for that meeting.
Wow.
Yes. So everything at the end just worked together, because my priorities were not misplaced. Yeah, I knew that these two things were important, but I found a way to make sure that what was most important was addressed. I mean, what was most important was my presentation. It wasn't me physically that was needed there. In Ibadan, there's no way I could have attended whatever they were doing in absentia. So I just distributed the energy, and I mean, just put things where they should be. And at the end of the day, I still was able to work everything out. So that's an example. Those things are important. So you just have to figure out how to make it work at every point in time. Yeah.
Wow. It's great to hear that. That is,
I mean, the strategy of false option, as you said, as you were speaking, reminded me of the parable of the talents. It is, yes, where one was given 5, one was given 2, one was given 1. And a friend of mine had asked me years ago, okay, so this friend of mine is someone that is interested in many things, and asked me years ago that, no, I asked this friend of mine that, which one is more important? And the friend answered and said, everything is important. I said, how now? And the friend looked at me and said, remember the parable of the talents? And he said, do you know that if the guy that they gave 5 prioritized 4, he would not have multiplied the remainder?
Yeah.
And what you said now is so powerful, Eunice.
I love the fact that people are, scriptures are coming forth. Omo is getting into ministry.
No, it's what my friend said. It's not my
It's a great
this is my ministry.
Yes.
Hosting events and hosting shows. It's my ministry.
Yes, it is.
So you both look like chilled couple, everything is working well, you are in ministry, things are deep, spiritual things and all. In your journey of 11 years, while serving God and while being married, you know you started from the...
Yes.
But in your 11 years, has there been a challenge, and has service to God helped you be in focus, and how have you pulled through in that stage?
Certainly there have been challenges. 11 years. You know, scripture says that he that desires the office of a bishop must be the husband of one wife. That's a ministry. So it proves to show that if you have capacity to be able to manage your wife and your family, then you would have capacity to be able to stand as, you know, as an overseer over God's people. So yes, there have been challenges, and like I always say, I say that let the dead bury their dead, because you can get to a point in life where you think that the challenges that you have are unsurmountable, and because of that you want to withdraw from ministry. But when the man that told Jesus, he said that, please, I want to go bury my dead. And he says, let the dead bury their dead. Follow me. That's what I said. So, because it is in the place of service and in ministry that, in fact, most times, and I can say for myself that I find wisdom to be able to manage the situations that I find myself. So there has never been a point where, in that sense, the challenges at home or with family or with work has affected majorly, you know, my service to God. In fact, I would say that it is my close contact and my constant service that helps me or puts me in a position or a better place to be able to handle the seasons and the challenges that we face. I'm sure that my detailed and she would have specific situations.
In this particular scenario, no. Yeah, I mean, I know that the reason why some people have challenges serving when they are going through personal things is because they feel like maybe the church is taking too much of their time, or the church is taking too much of their money, and that's why they cannot focus energy on or resources on these other things. But we've not had any challenges that was so intense or so bad that we will not show up in church or not show up the way we ought to, or the way we would normally show up. So for us, sincerely, it's been what he said. It has been in that company, has even given us strength and courage to go through those challenges and come out on the other side. So far in our life's journey, we've not had that kind of challenge, and I pray and hope that
Amen.
we never have
Amen.
such challenge. Yeah.
Thinking about it now, I think one major change that's for me now would be when I lost my job. Yes. I will keep saying that understanding is very, very key. You have to have an understanding spouse, right, that is able to take up. That's what scripture says. Says that two heads are better than one, and that they have a reward for their labor, and that's woe to him that is alone when he falls. So the fact that someone is dropping the ball or has dropped the ball, or situation and circumstances, you know, you have a curved ball in life and something happens, does not mean the end of life. It has to be that there has to just be a reassessment of your condition, your situation, and your circumstance. And like I say, he that has capacity at that time should pick up that, you know. So yes, we've had challenges, really, we've had, and but we've been able to pull through. But I say that it was still in the place of service that we could find the true and the very essence of why that, you know, happened. And I can say, in fact, that I'm in a better place because of that situation.
Wow. You see, the way you answered the question that Eunice asked it resembles you trying to say the rewards of service. Number one reward, you met a beautiful wife while serving. But if I were to put it directly,
Yeah.
what are the rewards of service? Be you a pastor, be you an usher, be you anything in the house of God.
Well, I would like to look at it from two perspectives. There are eternal rewards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say teachers that their reward is in heaven, you know, but yet there are also rewards within time that you get from service. You know, when scripture says that when you pray, shut the door. He said, your Father that is in secret will reward you openly. That means that the true essence of service is not in the elevation or the promotion within the confines of church.
Great.
It is that people will be able to see you in the marketplace with fantastic ideas that they will be able to pay for.
Wow.
That you can pull people to God because they've heard your story and they see and they've narrowed it down. They've looked by inductive reasoning that what is the common factor? Why is he making it? Why is he being successful in the marketplace? And all they can narrow it down is to your service. That, oh yes, he belongs to this church. Or that he does this. And that we've looked at a couple of other people that are in that same line. And the reason for their success is that the common denominator is that these guys are in service. So really, there is the eternal rewards because God says, you know, I've said it before, that God is an investor. He gives you talents and expects that you will trade with those talents because there is a reward that you will get in eternity for what he has given to you. Like the parable that you mentioned of the talents. It is that he is going to put you over certain cities. He's going to put you in places of authority and power because you traded well. But that's eternity. But I'm saying even in time, people are supposed to look at you and say, not that you have titles attached to your name, but that they see that there is some measure of success, that you are thriving in the marketplace, that you are thriving, your family is fine, your career is good, you know. It's not that you are trying to play church or trying to play politics in church. That's it.
Deep.
So,
You know, for me, so he's talked about eternal rewards, which is there for all of us. Like, all of us want to make heaven. I think that's eternity. And here on earth, for me, sometimes there's a sense of fulfillment when you can serve others, when you are doing something else apart from something that benefits you directly. So for me personally, it's a reward for me. Because
personal fulfillment.
yes, personal the fact that you remember someone and you pray for the person, because I think that's a form of service and ministry. You pray for the person. The joy that it brings to me personally is a reward of service. I also see service in church as a free ticket to practice many things. You know, it's in church that if you don't act okay, people will still clap for you and encourage you. And you still get the opportunity to act again. And before you know it, your acting career starts off the back of the church. Right? You know many musicians who tell you, oh, they were in their church choir. So they practice for free, as far as I'm concerned. We get to lead people for free. Make mistakes, learn how to lead, learn how not to lead for free. And then we in turn, I have loads of experiences, loads of instances where I would be maybe in a leaders training in church, maybe with pastor, or I would be sitting at a seminar or a pastor's conference. I would be there because I'm serving. not because I really signed up to attend church. And then, I'll be taking notes of things that I'm going to implement in the office.
Wow.
Yes. Like, I take notes, I put the names of people involved, I write it right there, and I'm like, these people. The next time when I get to the office, I implement those things. Those are rewards for me, because if I would have to probably pay to get access to this kind of knowledge. I would have to actually fail, have my self-esteem battered because I fail at something to get. But in church, I get it for free. And I can use it to make money, to shine, to make my life better, to get promoted, and all those kind of stuff. So it's reward of reward of service in that way. If you look at it that way, it is reward of service.
Eunice, I like where she's coming from. There is the fulfillment, and then there is the experiential knowledge that she's brought to it.
I can also relate personally. Like Omo and I, last season, it was the first season on covenant marriages, and this is us. This is Omo.
It's national.
Yes. So I just in rounding up, if I want to ask, from your stories, you were in secondary school 7, for me quite a young age, and so with your children, are you intentional about showing them about service to God? And also tips for parents who might be watching right now, wanting to engage their children in service to God from a young age.
You know, it is the expectations of the society from the PK, pastor's kid. You know, for me, it's how that sometimes you guys are high flyer, and the child who didn't sign up to be a PK is suffering. So, as an addendum to Eunice's question, how do you address that angle?
You have to be deliberate and intentional, you know, to be able to achieve what you have in mind to achieve as a parent for your kid or for your children. First thing, from experience, would be that now they are not at that age where you are saying this. You are still at that age where you are showing by example, right? This is what service is all about. Then there are obviously teachable moments, you know, where they ask. In fact, they almost understand my routine. I come back from church and today they are saying, do you have a meeting? You know, so they already line it up. At some point, my schedule changed, you know, and I stopped, you know, going to Ibadan with the train, and so on a Saturday morning, they wake up and they find me at home, and they are wondering, are you not going, you know, to Ibadan? So really, it's been more of examples and teachable moments, and, you know, just because we don't want to also put pressure. You have to be careful not to, you know, put pressure on them to behave right. In fact, when I said that, there are times where something is already running, what you are supposed to do is just maintenance ration, just maintain it. But you have to be very observant, and you have to listen. Because, in fact, misdemeanors also is a pointer to the fact that there is some form of neglect. So then you have to put focus. Oh, they are trying to get your attention. Even though they don't know that's what they are trying to do by misbehaving in school, or, you know, doing something wrong that requires you scolding or saying, it just means that there is some form of neglect. So then I say ask. Not necessarily by saying, what do you want? But I'm saying, okay, you've got my attention. What is the problem? What do we need to do then? And for that period of time, I need to do it a bit more, you know, intentional and focused parenting. That something is wrong here. What is it? Then we drill down to the real issues. But really not much pressure, because if you have to take them to church and suddenly maybe you have night vigils and mosquito. You know, those are things that becomes their thoughts, that they don't even want to show up in church later in life because the experience they got was either of night vigils being a time when mosquitoes beat them, you know, they were stressed and all of that. So as much as possible, you know, we're introducing them into it bit by bit. Yeah.
I hope they never experience the pressure of being a PK, because it's not a good place to be. And I know that generally we don't say things like, don't behave that way. You know you're a pastor's son, or you know you're a pastor's daughter. I don't think that has ever come out of any of us's mouth. And I don't think anyone around us ever says things like that. If they did, I would definitely know, because it would sound off, and I know that I would put the person in check immediately. So if you are going to correct them about something that they did or didn't do, it will be because you know you are a child of God and you shouldn't do this. If I remember a scripture that I know they know and they've said to me before, I can say that scripture back to them and say, you know, you said, you know, you learned this. Would God be happy with you if you did this? It will never be because your dad is a pastor and you have to behave yourself. It would, by God, it would never be that. So that they have their own, they choose. We hope that we can guide them to the point where they choose what is right. And it would not be because they are pastors' children. It will be because they have realized that that is the right way to live. And that's it for us. It can be a lot with children, asking you even obvious questions, but we try to explain to them. Yeah, I mean, like
I would say that I also started out as a traditional parent, because, you know, I say that if we know better, we will do better.
Sure.
And over time, I'm sure that I've grown into this mode of being a parent, because we started out based on what you went through as a child, how you were corrected, how you were, if it was the rod of correction, you know, and all of that. So we started out, so that was my default, you know, before getting into understanding that there is what is called intelligent parenting, and that you have to, there is what is, it has to be fit for the 21st century, you know, kids, children. So yeah, it's, we are all learning. Getting into it. Yeah.
We are.
Eunice,
getting better.
we have watched, we have learned. I want to really thank you. We're elated by the fact that of your busy schedule. I mean, minister, marketplace minister, kingdom minister, family ministers. You found the time to come and be with us and share with us, despite your very busy and tight schedules. Our covenant marriages, we would never like our guests to go empty-handed. As a sign of honor, and because you have taught us well, we are glad to present this token
is so beautiful.
to you.
Oh,
Wow.
it's lovely.
Your husband should become a pastor, Abby.
It's beautiful.
it's service. It's not.
I don't mind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and would like to bless you with this.
Oh, wow, it's so beautiful.
It really is beautiful.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Thank you for
Much.
having us. Wow.
You are so welcome. I like the holding of the hands.
Nice.
Because
Yeah.
this is the part where the Fanta and Coke is obvious.
Thank you for being such a
thank you.
blessing.
Thank you
so much.
so
Thank
much.
Thank you for
having
having
us.
us.
Thank you.
We
Thank
hope
you.
we impacted a bit.
No.
Yes,
That
you
is
did.
When you will see it. There's something we learned that they say in law. It's Latin, you know, law and Latin, we are together. It's res ipsa locutor. It says the fact speaks for itself. The fact will speak for itself. We're grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank you so much for having
Thank
us.
you. We are the ones that are thanking you. We are grateful and indebted.
And thank you for being a part of Covenant Marriages today. I hope you have been inspired. No pressures. Take steps, baby steps, and remember to stick to God. And also know that service to God definitely is rewarding. And from me, thank you.
And from me, thank you. Thank you. And see you next time. Bye-bye.